We redesigned our main characters more than 100 times and almost made a huge mistake along the way. Today, we're taking you behind the scenes of one of the biggest art changes in Water Me and You. From our adorable woodlings to the roller coaster journey of finding the true Ripples and Sprout. For those of you that are new here, our game Water Me and You is a genre-blending cozy co-op adventure that mixes exciting and dynamic gameplay elements from games like It Takes Two with the cozy and relaxing aspects of games like Animal Crossing or Stardew Valley. Before we get into the chaos, let's start with something that went surprisingly and incredibly right. By some cosmic miracle, our first major art discovery, the woodlings, was perfect from the start. They are the tiny creatures that you'll meet in the village. Now, when I say start, what I mean is when we started redesigning them. If you've been following us on TikTok for a while, you'll know that they used to look very different from what they are now. We had the same problem with them that we had with our main characters of the game. They simply weren't expressive and alive enough. Our world had gone through a lot of changes, and they needed to change as well. But, like I said, by some miracle, our 2D artist managed to nail the vibe immediately. Soft shapes, expressive eyes, simple but personality-filled silhouettes. No matter how much you change them up, they are still very distinct, and you'll know who and what they are straight away. It felt like unlocking the first piece of the puzzle, but oh boy, did the next piece not come together as easily. You know that feeling when you're having a really good dream, and you're kinda aware that it's a dream, but also you're trying really hard to convince yourself that it's actually reality because it feels so nice, and then something startles and jump scares you into reality like a bucket of cold water. Well, that's kinda what it felt like trying to redesign our main characters after the woodling redesign went almost unbelievably well. We were at it for months. Our 2D artist was on the brink of several nervous breakdowns, and to be frank with you, we all were. For a while there, we were seriously considering just sticking with the old versions. They were adorable. We loved them. We still love them. But they're like your childhood plushies. Precious, sweet, but not exactly functional in adulthood. Maybe they weren't the most amazing things you've ever seen, though one thing we definitely knew is that they were unique. But as the rest of the world grew, more detailed environments, richer lighting, deeper themes, our little protagonists simply felt out of place. Bless their tiny souls, but they looked like they shared 2 brain cells between them. Their faces had no emotion, no inner world, nothing that could carry a story of any weight. Just a blank stare into the void. So the challenge was, how do we update them without losing their charm and uniqueness? As many of you already know, we added an entirely new aspect to the game, which was cozy. The game was no longer simply linear, so we knew that we now had to make our characters more functional, or at least make them look it. Their arms could no longer be purely ornamental. Well, in Ripples' case, he first had to grow some arms. But all in all, they needed to be functional. They were now going to be holding things, swinging, chopping, watering, fishing, harvesting. Something needed to be done. So we started with small tweaks, slightly different proportions, giving them some sort of body instead of them being just 2 little spheres. Longer legs and arms, we questioned whether the arms should be symmetrical. Do we need them equally functional, or could one arm perhaps be different and build character in that way? If they now had some sort of torso, the next logical step would be to give them some kind of clothing. So we continued experimenting. Should it be made out of scraps, or should they have regular clothing that just looked like it was made in their world? We also tried focusing really hard on emotion. How do you show curiosity, fear, joy, annoyance? So of course we played around with the eyes. Round, droopy, eyebrows, no eyebrows, mouth shapes, more posture variations. Still, something was missing. This struggle went on for what seemed like ages, and slowly but surely pushed us towards a new way of thinking. And that was, will we get the expressiveness and depth we wanted if we make them more human?
Look at this dude. No.
Now, if you're seeing red flags all around, you're on the right path. We should have been seeing them as well, but you know when you've been working so hard for so long, trying to find the right path, but every turn you take leads you towards more questions than answers? That's how we were feeling. Our 2D artist even more so, because this was mostly on her shoulders. Now that she's on the other side of it, she's all like,
"Oh, I appreciated the struggle. You know, it was really tough, but I'm a better artist for it."
Yeah, okay. But as I was saying, we were really in a desperate place, and we somehow ended up here. And I mean, these guys are awesome. We were almost locked in on them. The entire team got a new wave of energy and started working towards this new goal that these characters were bringing, but after sitting with them for a bit and actually taking into consideration what they would mean for the game, for the world we were building, we realized that we were steering too far away from our original vision for the game. And so, with a heavy heart, we said, let's give it one more try. 100 second times the charm? And then, almost instantly after going back to the drawing board, there they were. Ripples and Sprout. Soft, expressive, curious, emotional, they finally felt like they belonged. They matched the tone of the game, the environments, the cozy atmosphere, the story. They finally looked like characters who could live in this world and hold a pickaxe. Now, you may say, oh, you made 100 iterations just to end up having them look slightly different and giving them arms. And to that I say, I reject your reality and choose my own. All in all, though it may seem like the time spent finding these characters was too much and we could have perhaps done it sooner, I don't think we could have. When you care about something you're doing as much as we care about this game, you question everything. You don't settle when you know what it can become. Let's just hope that these are the actual last iterations. So please be nice in the comments, because otherwise our art department is cooked. So yeah, we made over 100 versions before finding them. Some cute, some horrifying, some humbling, but all of them led us here. And that's how Ripples and Sprout finally found their true form. It took frustration, experimentation, and one final leap of faith. But we're incredibly proud of where we landed. If you enjoyed this deep dive into our art journey, click the like button. Subscribe to make sure you don't miss our next devlog, share it with somebody you'd like to play our game with, and of course, if you haven't yet, wishlist Water Me and You on Steam. We hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you in the next one.